Welcome in, everybody. I am Ben Parker, joined tonight by Simon Shortt. Actually, this is the Box Score Network. We have done, Simon, you and I, a bunch of these discussions about mock drafts and draft philosophy, and even this year's clusters of draft picks on your show, my show, this show, everything. Usually, these prospect profiles have been me and Shane and Austin, but I am glad to have you on board tonight, and we're discussing Jermod McCoy. So glad to have you on board. Tell us real quick how you're doing, and we'll jump into McCoy.
I'm fantastic, Ben. Thank you for having me. Shout out you, Shane and Austin. You guys have been, cranking out these prospect profiles. They've been awesome. So thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who is watching. Yes, Ben is doing a little one for him, one for me, making me go back and watch some DB film. But I also get to, talk about an offensive lineman tonight too. So we're having a great time. But McCoy's a really interesting guy, so I'm excited to hit it.
All right, so Jermod McCoy, height 6'1", weight 190, from Tennessee. Obviously, everybody knows about I say everybody knows, most people know about the injury considerations. That's kind of its own track. You're welcome to touch on it if you want to, but let's go ahead and jump in here. Your first thoughts on Jermod McCoy, the player.
Jermon McCoy is a lot of fun. I mean, he is a big guy. It's funny. We've talked about it with these corners. They're all listed at just about the same height. Like everyone's either 6 foot or 6'1". Everyone's either 180 or 195, somewhere in that range. But they all carry it very differently. Jermon McCoy is a big, big shoulder, strong, physical corner. He likes playing in press man. He likes beating guys up at the line of scrimmage. He likes attacking guys at the catch point. If he's in cover three and he gets to kind of roam into the middle of the field on a receiver going up for a ball, he loves to lay the smack down. Occasionally, he likes to play in the run fit too a little bit if he has a chance to like on a screen pass or something, right? Like blow up a receiver that's blocking him. He's a little bit of a performative tackler, we'll say, but it's still effective and useful when he wants to do it. So he's really interesting from a press man corner standpoint. If you're a team that just needs your corners to like straight line forward, straight line backward, you're like, hey, you're either punching a guy in his chest or you are getting the heck back in a deep zone, kind of deep third situation. McCoy is a good fit for that. So he's got a really fun skill set, especially at the college level.
All right. Yeah, I agree. I'll start real quick before I dive into my notes. The press man is the thing that I love about him, and that's the
Hmm.
first thing everybody says about him. I think everybody agrees on that. I don't think there's a whole lot of disagreement about what McCoy is, but whatever there is, you and I will mention tonight at some point during our profile here. So let me get into the notes. Here we go, and then we'll hop it back over to you. I love the physicality. He's very, very physical in coverage. Seems to just enjoy it. Played a lot of press man, didn't play as much zone or off man. Played a ton of press man in college. Tennessee must really have trusted him a lot because frequently he played with no help over the top and no help to the inside. It wasn't every single play, but dadgummit, man, you mentioned it. He loves to get right on the line of scrimmage, right at your nose, and physically beat you up at the line and then carry you all the way downfield. And he's got
Hmm.
no inside help and no help over the top on a lot of these plays. And, he did that against some of the best wide receivers in the Southeastern Conference. So it wasn't like he was just over here feasting on the second or third guys. Really tremendous work, impressed, man. I was so impressed with that. The lack of help is always a major indicator. His confidence is sky high. Goodness gracious. I mean, this guy looks fearless when he lines up. He looks like he cannot wait to line up one on one against these guys. It is absolutely a thing of beauty. You mentioned it can really lower his shoulder and hit hard like a safety, can just absolutely drop people sometimes. You mentioned his big shoulders, big
Hmm.
upper body. Yeah, he's built, and I think he's probably worked on it too, but he's just built well. So all of those things I love. Totally agree. Now let's get into some other things. I'll phrase it that way. Does use his hand a lot on wide receivers. If they
Hmm.
let him buy it without the NFL level, that's fine. But
Yep.
listen, at the line, all during the route, at the catch point. He completely gets by with it in college, and he may get by with it at the NFL level if he's savvy enough about how he do it. But he is very handsy. So just a note there. It's not just his quick feet or his brilliant, mirroring. He's also very handsy. May or may not be a problem at the NFL level. The closing speed. I thought his closing speed was insane. I really like that. Instantaneous. He even allows a catch in when he allows a catch in front of him, he can just smother immediately, which he doesn't usually allow many catches. But when he
Right.
does, boom, done. Um, Let me stop right there. I'm going to get to the zone work and the run support, which I'm more negative on, but let me stop it right there and kick it back to you. Anything there you want to touch on with McCoy?
Yeah, there's a lot to like, and there's a lot of interesting features, and there's a lot of things that if it's like he goes to the right team or goes to the right
Yeah,
coaching, points, he can be successful and work out. The finer nuances, I think, of some of this stuff, though, and the overall play style are riskier for me when you talk about projecting to the NFL and like draft value and where I would take them and stack them among some of these other corners. I think this is still anecdotal. It's like the third time I've said it's anecdotal. I should probably do the research on it at this point, but it definitely feels like the bust rate is higher for these corners that rely on physicality first and then technique second, right? It feels a little bit
yeah,
like the conversation we were having with receivers in like the early part of this year, right?
yeah.
When JSN was obviously taking off, but Emeka Buka was having a really nice season, and then we were kind of reveling in what Puka was doing, putting aside this week for Puka, um, where it was like, hey, these guys that can like fill in the gaps, right? Kind of find the soft spots of zone, like know the finer nuances of how to break off and run their routes. And it's not all about just like speed and dominating, right? Not everybody has to be AJ Brown, but it feels a little bit the same way at corner right now. Like at corner, I want the smooth mover. I want the cool operator, the high IQ player. That's why I really like a Mansour Delane. That's why I really like the guys who can mirror and flip their hips really quick and get on guys and recovery speed like Avion Terrell. Jermod McCoy is trying to win by punching you in the mouth, and if you get by him, he's going to try and close, hunt you down like a cheetah. And
Right.
those two skills are very good, but there's a lot of room in between those things happening for things to go wrong. I was watching back the Ohio State game from 2024 just now, and it was actually a really nice balance because for a lot of the game, he was actually playing just a little bit off more than he normally does. And I was like, oh, this is great.
Okay.
And he's going against all these great receivers. And I'm like, this is where he's saying, hey, I'm going to play back. But, Will Howard knows I'm fast enough that there's a small window of time where he could get this ball out that I'm not going to get to it. So Howard wasn't throwing his way a lot. It was a lot of, and this was all these guys, the 2024 Ohio State receivers that McCoy was on and not getting the ball thrown to him. But then the moment he gets lined up one on one against Jeremiah Smith, and it's Smith is backside, and I think the play ended up being there was going to be a single high safety, so
Yeah.
not fully getting a double team, not fully getting help over the top. And I don't know if McCoy got greedy or if it was the play call, but he presses up and completely whiffs, and Smith gets an easy touchdown, And at
Yeah.
that point, it made it like a two possession game or whatever. And I'm just like, that's the thing I'm worried about, right? If that's the play style, if that's how he has to win at the next level, because while the straight line speed back or the closing speed, right? Like if he drops back and then has to close a window, close a gap, while that speed is very good, that shiftiness isn't great. It's a little herky jerky. Again, that body type, like even though he's not actually bigger than these guys, that like being a little bit wider, a little bit more physical, it takes him a minute to kind of stop and re-accelerate. So if that play style isn't going to kind of turn into that direction all of a sudden, which you wouldn't expect, especially with whatever this injury concern is, right? Then I'm like, okay, now the scope is narrowing of the teams I could see him being really effective for, right? So that's kind of my major hang up. It's a more high risk, high reward kind of system to take a corner like this. And I think more often than not, like the best corners aren't the ones that are press man and just beating you up. It's the guys that can really mirror, really hang with you, really fool a quarterback and be in phase all the time. And I don't know if that's going to be McCoy's game, especially like I said, coming off the injury.
It's a good point. Given the right team, he could be dominant. He could be hitting, all kinds of beautiful notes. Given the wrong team, he might get roasted a few times and start to lose confidence. And then, what does he have to fall back on? So that I agree with you. Let me hit my final couple of notes here. they're not the most pleasant notes, but still, it's important to get well rounded on this guy. Uh, the zone work to me looks sloppy. It really looks uncertain and not crisp. It's almost like a different player. It's like he doesn't even really quite know where to be and what to do, or like it's not his instincts to play zone. He is so wired to be in your face. It's almost like he's just not really sure that this is where he wants to be in life when he's playing zone, you know? So wasn't thrilled with that. The top end speed wasn't thrilling. I mentioned his closing time, but still, I saw when he was doing off man, I saw a couple of wide receivers start to sail by him a little bit on
Hmm.
boundary flies and red zone fades. So, that if he's beating them up at the line and slowing them down, that's fine. But when he's doing off man, they can run by him a little bit. On the good ones, I mean, I saw that up against Alabama and Arkansas. And then the run support. I just wasn't overly impressed with the run support. It was fairly bad. Now he's intelligent. He knows where to be. That's not the problem at all. But the pursuit was lacking. The tackling technique in run is lacking. It's like he's really just not too worried about it, and he was frequently just blocked easily by everyone. So he can drop somebody instantaneously when he kind of comes in. He can bust a play up. I think you mentioned earlier screens or whatever he
Hmm.
spots. He can run in and blow it up. But generally speaking, it's just not getting much done when the run comes to his side. It's kind of like, oh, I'll duck behind this defender and I'll make sure they don't get the sideline. But other than that, I'm not going to get too involved in this.
Yeah.
And so that's not great. Um, and I also he's not short. He's fine, 6'1". That's where most
Hmm.
cornerbacks. But it did look like too he might struggle with big receivers when it comes to red zone type areas. They might be able to lift up over him. I didn't feel like he had a great vertical to go along with his 6'1" frame when I watched him on the film. I really like him. I really do. But I'm with you with everything you've said here. It's got some high reward, high risk to it. Now, I don't personally see any reason to drop him out of the first round. I'm happy to take him first round, but I don't have him as CB1. I've got him firmly behind Mansour Delane for my own flavors and purposes. I know you're the same on Delane, I think. Do you have any reason to drop him clear out of the first round, or are you pretty locked in on him as a first rounder?
I don't think I'd give him a true like first round grade, especially once you put the medical and everything into it. Now, if a team
Okay.
took him in the first round, I wouldn't have a problem with it, especially because you'd be talking a playoff team probably. Like if the Eagles came up with Jermod McCoy, I picked 23 or something like that. I'd be like, yep,
Okay.
okay, sounds good. And it's funny because they signed Reek Woolen to the
Right.
1 year deal, kind of similar players, right? Like obviously McCoy's not as big or as freaky athletically, but like, hey, you either want this guy to try jam up on the line or just be in a straight line. So similar kind of vibe. Um, if he went to a good team to be a CB2 at the end of the first round and was cornerback kind of depth, I'd be good with that. If the Dolphins were going to try to take him to like be this new turning point of their defensive back room at 11, I'd be like,
Hmm.
between that combination of how high you're picking them and what your talent is in the defense back room altogether, I wouldn't
Right.
love that. I currently have him on my board at number like 34.
Okay.
But again, my true first round grades ends well before that, but he's my CB3.
Okay.
I have Mansour Delane and I have Avion Terrell above him.
All right. So that's Jermod McCoy. We're not quite as high on him as what some people are, but we still like him. We still see a lot of value there in Jermod McCoy. All right, everybody, thank you so much for listening. This is the Box Score Network. We've got plenty of prospects on here. We've also got lots of mock drafts for first rounds. We've also got big boards out as well. And then we have some fun things out as well. So check all that out here on the Box Score Network. Thank you very much. Have a great one. Bye.